If you are looking at your crypto portfolio and you are happy with what you are seeing, then there's a good chance that you're going to be even way more happy in the next quarter. And I want to show you exactly why I think that. So welcome to the Fomo Factory. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn the bell notification on. And let's get into the fact why I think next quarter is going to be completely fantastic for altcoins. Okay, so we have been waiting for an alt season for a long time. A lot of people expected it earlier. I kind of said for 2 years now, like guys, probably end of 2024, beginning 2025. It looks like it is exactly what's playing out right now. And this is all based on crypto history. Look, we all know history doesn't exactly repeat, but it sometimes it correlates really close. And there are a couple of other things that are also showing like, hey, this is somewhat the same. Now, if the next move in the altcoin market is the same, then we're going to see insane returns. So let's get over that. If you are in the Alpha Factory, there is a link down below. You get early access to new coin calls, exclusive videos. I'm not going to name it all. I don't want you to skip this part, but do check it out. There's a discount going on right now, 30% off with the code FOMO Friday. Do check it out. This community is really killing it right there. But first, at this moment of recording, Bitcoin is having a small pullback, right? But it's not even to be considered really a pullback. It's more that Bitcoin is just going sideways a little bit. Is that weird? Look, no, we just went sideways for 8 months. So hey, what's sideways for a week, right? After all, we just kind of pumped from 69 to 99K within a matter of a couple of weeks. So it's not weird that things cool off. But what we are seeing during the cool off for Bitcoin is explosive for altcoins. And in the next leg, it could be completely fantastic, actually. So this is just one indicator that I showed a couple of times saying like, hey guys, here you go again. This time is not different, right? If you look at the purple line, that's a current cycle. And if you compare that to the last 2 cycles, then it's not different, right? Of course, it goes up a little harder right here. It's different, right? It goes sideways longer than here. It's different. But at the end of the day, we start at the same point and we go towards the end point. And the route that we are taking towards that, yeah, that's always a little different, of course. But nevertheless, we are perfectly on track because we are right in between the last 2 cycles. So for Bitcoin, it is not different. And if that's the case, yeah, in both of these cycles, we went way higher in the post-halving year. Right now, of course, this is a little diminishing, but nevertheless, there is room for growth for Bitcoin. And that means that there is a lot of room for growth for the altcoin market because the post-halving year is always the year where altcoins outperform. Let me say this, I'm doing fantastic in crypto. I'm making a lot of money. And the reason why I'm making a lot of money is because I said from the beginning, this time is no different. I'm playing the cycle. And I got a lot of backfire for it. But at the end of the day, here we are. So I will continue like doing that because look, the further we are in the cycle and the more it shows like it's the same, then it's the more belief for me that, you know, the coming year will also be the same. There's no single reason for me to believe that that will suddenly change, right? So if next year will be the same, then we get an alt season, then we get a Bitcoin which goes way higher than $100,000, and then we're going to top out somewhere at the end of 2025. Look, will eventually something be different? Probably, but like there will be a lot more the same again, and that's really good to trade. So let's take a look why I think that this is really bullish for altcoins actually. Now, I also want to give you a small tip in this video how you can already identify the great altcoins for the next bull market, because I know it's still far ahead, right? But there is some kind of a cheat in this whole crypto space. And I want to give you 2 examples and I want to show you how you can apply that in the next cycle, right? Because it's really easy to make a lot of money with crypto. Actually, you just have to do okay in 2 cycles, right? If you made in the last cycle that we had, basically, if you bought Bitcoin somewhere near the bottom, right, and sold somewhere near the top, you made a 20x, 10x, 20x. And if you did this again with that amount of money, you made another 10x maybe, right? Then you're already sitting at 100x and you didn't even have to play this dangerous altcoin game all the time. Now, that is at this moment where the most money is to be made. I've been talking about Altseason now, like I said, that it should happen, around this period for 2 years now. And if we look at, the Altseason chart, basically, altcoins on the Bitcoin pair, you can see that we're now bouncing off of this trend line, exactly at this trend line, right? And also exactly at the time where it happened in the last cycle, 4 years later. Here was 4 years later than here. This is not a coincidence anymore, right? We had to break this trend line right here to really see the parabolic move. We just broke this trend line. It's a little like, it's not much of a trend line, like 1 touch, 2, maybe 3, right? Like it's not super confirmed. But then again, I just made a video indicating it's like 9 reasons why Altseason is either here or very close. We can no longer deny this, right? But why is next year going to be even better? Well, what stands out to me, and this is all, again, based on the fact that I stick to the cycle and that I look at the last cycles and be like, okay, if we compare to that, then this is kind of what could happen, right? I'm not saying, hey, this happened over here, so it's going to exactly happen over here. But if everything is the same, I'm not going to bet against it as well. Like that's a little ridiculous, of course. So what we are seeing right now is Bitcoin cooling off a little bit, right? Now, what happened before that, Bitcoin kind of went sideways from February, let's say beginning this year. And in November, we had the breakout, right? This was boring for Bitcoin holders, and this was nice for Bitcoin holders. However, if we take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, you can see that from beginning this year, the Bitcoin dominance kind of went up. So altcoins got wrecked on the Bitcoin pair quite hard. And then when Bitcoin had that big breakout, the dominance went up even more. So people got a little sick and tired, and they start capitulating and pivoting, like the Altseason is not coming and altcoins are dead. Like people also said at this stage of the market in the last cycle. And we need these people, of course. We need these disbelievers. And if there are enough of those, then the move can happen. Right now, I think that the move is happening, starts to happen, right? What we see right now is the Bitcoin dominance for the first time ever basically showing real weakness. And I don't mean weakness as in, hey, it goes down, because here it went down and it went down a lot. But look, last month alone, in November, it went down 5%. The last time that happened was here in June 2022, right before Bitcoin season started, right? These kind of moves, you only see that during an alt season. Also, we are getting rejected at the 618. That's exactly where we got rejected last cycle before an alt season came in. And if we look at the smaller time frame, you can also just simply see that we're now below the bull market support band. I said that in the video last time, like, hey, another bullish reason added for alt season. And that's if we close below the bull market support band. Now we close below it. We close well below it. Now, of course, we close below it here as well. And next week we can go up again. So I don't want to cheer too soon. But it's indicator on indicator on indicator, basically. And that's showing to me like, wow, okay, this thing is now really showing weakness. Also, if you take a look at the Bitcoin dominance without stables, it did not only break the bull market support band, it broke this huge rising wedge that it's been in since December 2021. This has gotten altcoins wrecked. This move up, that's what wrecked altcoins. Not necessarily just altcoins going down on the dollar pair. Because Bitcoin went down at first until here, so and 2021, until here, give or take. But when Bitcoin started to go up again, altcoins still got wrecked because the dominance just went down up so hard, right? Now the dominance is showing like, ooh, we are breaking some major support, so that's very good for altcoins. Now, what's interesting, if you ask me again, is this. Bitcoin had its run, right? And it's now in a period where it has to cool off a little bit from that parabolic move, right? But what's cool is that if you look at the Bitcoin dominance, while Bitcoin is sideways-ish, maybe a little down, but not much. The dominance is taking a real hit, right? And that's actually a good thing. If you look, the last time when Altseason started was kind of here, the first week of January, first week of 2021, basically, right? This is where the dominance also topped out. What happened with Bitcoin over there? Well, what happened with Bitcoin over there is that was this period right here, right? So what you see, Bitcoin just like went above its all-time high, 20K. It went all the way up to like 40, give or take, almost 2x above. Well, this was 2x above the all-time high, so quite above it. And then had that good pull down. And that was the moment where people took profits out of Bitcoin and put it into altcoins, because that's like I just showed you where you saw that the Bitcoin dominance was also going down. Now we are if we have to compare in this stage, right? Bitcoin goes down a little bit and altcoins go down. Here, Bitcoin took a 30% hit, right? And I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen this time as well. Also not saying that it's impossible, okay? But hey, I think that if we have a pullback, it might not be more than 30%. I think these pullbacks are also diminishing, but you'll never know. Nevertheless, I do think that we are here. Dominance is now going down, and we now have seen altcoins exploding from all angles. My portfolio exploded, and yours might as well, just because the dominance went down with a couple percent, while Bitcoin is not even going up. Well, what we saw in this cycle over here is after that Bitcoin corrected and it went up from 30K to like 64K, right? This is where Bitcoin really started to rip from January 2021 till April. But what happened to the Bitcoin dominance in that period? January 2021 till April is here. This is where Bitcoin went up, but the dominance kept on going down. So that was even more explosive for altcoins. If you look in the first quarter for altcoins of 2021, let's just take that whole quarter to see what happened right there. Let's put it on a 3-month chart, the altcoin market, 2021. This is what the altcoin market did, right? So Bitcoin went from 30 to 60K, basically. The altcoin market went from 44 billion to 233 billion in one quarter. Right? And that's just because the dominance kept on going down, but Bitcoin in the meantime decided to go up. So that's where a lot of money flowed into the crypto market. And I think we are about to see something similar now as well. So this is a real good move. This is really good. We've seen the Bitcoin dominance showing absolute weakness right now. Also, if you put it on the quarter chart, right, you just see this huge hammer, this bear hammer that smacks the bears to death, right, basically, where it went up all this way and eventually it closes here. Right now, I know December just started. This could go any place for now, but for now, looks actually really good, right? So I think that if we are looking at the altcoin market right now, yes, things have been explosive and there are certain altcoins popping off, but this is not really much yet. Now, also very simple. If you look on the monthly chart for the altcoin market, you see that we closed here at the previous cycle high, and now we'll see if we hold that up. But this is the low cap market, right? This is everything outside of the top 10. Now let's take a look at the total market. That looks like this. Look, you just saw that the altcoin market, mostly where our money is still sitting here. Now, as we know, money flows from high caps to lower caps. So this is kind of a preview of how this is going to look like, right? And that lines up very well with that Q1 boost that we are probably about to see. Another chart that I showed you earlier on the channel as well is if you want to get your bull cap on, then that's this chart. This is the others dominance. together with others Bitcoin and others, together with others Bitcoin, this is the altcoin season chart basically, right? This shows how much are altcoins dominating the rest of the market, and that's currently 11%, right? So take that 3.5 trillion, give or take. Well, altcoins, they dominate 11%, which puts us at 360 billion. But if you look at this chart, two things that I noticed. I've drawn this line a long time ago, and I will try to leave it here. I don't know if I can lock it, by the way, so I can never get rid of it yet. This parallel channel is intact, right? And that's bullish, because in every bull market we went to the top of this channel twice, right? Let us go at least once there in this bull market. I mean, it is intact. We just bounced off of it. But also what's more important and more interesting is if you look at the 3-month chart, because as you see, where did the biggest pumps come from in both cycles? Well, the last cycle, you see this huge green candle happened to be the first quarter of 2021, first quarter of the post-halving year. If you look at this one, this candle was the biggest candle that we had basically ever, but also in that cycle, happened in quarter 1 of 2017, the post-halving year, right? Now we are about to enter Q1 of the post-halving year once again. Again, it's not a guarantee, it's not a promise, it's not, but everything in crypto turns out to be so cyclical once again. It's scary how things are so the same. And then if we look at this, I'd be like, hey, we don't have to pump 180% like we did here. We don't have to pump 90% like we did here, right? This was half of it. Let's say it's diminishing and we pump half of that and we go up 45% in this quarter, right? Which puts us, by the way, at the top of this range, of this mid-range here. And I don't think that's everything yet. But that's another 45%. Again, from the bare lows until where we are right now, we pumped 25%. And some altcoins have been already 5xing or more, right? And why is that? Well, that's because they have been outperforming a total crypto market with a valuation of more than $3 trillion, right? And 25% of that is flowing into the altcoin market from the bottom until where we are right now. Yeah, let's take another 45%. Like, that's going to be insane. And I'm not even talking about the top of this range right here. So it's looking really good, guys. It is really looking good. And I think that next quarter is going to be super explosive. Again, that move by Bitcoin, it is weird how the same it is once again, right? If we look at this move right here where we stalled off for a while and, hey, Bitcoin might dip even further. And of course, like, yeah, if the Bitcoin dominance goes up during that time or stays flat, then altcoins can take a good hit on the dollar pair. But what happened last cycle is the dominance went down harder than Bitcoin did. So altcoins in this period actually went up. You see Bitcoin from the first week of January until the end of January, basically going down with 30%. If we look at the altcoin market and we go to January, this has been going up, right? From the first week of January, which was here, here, until the last, that went up 100%, right? Even though Bitcoin went down with 30%, right? That was an indication to a lot of people like, wow, okay, I faded this whole alt season, but this is quite the confirmation for me. Right now, people might feel like, yeah, Bitcoin is 100K, so altcoins are blowing up right now. Yeah, that's definitely true. Most altcoins, they just go up because Bitcoin is going up, right? I mean, altcoins on the Bitcoin pair, say whatever you want, but they are far from where they could go, right? And even if we get to this move right here, which we will, 100% guaranteed, then altcoins are going to do insane. This was in January, beginning this year, basically, where we had that final, like where altcoins finally started to do well, right? Some altcoins 10x'd. Yeah, that was just because altcoins started to outperform Bitcoin a little bit, right? But you have to remember, Bitcoin was 30, 40K in this range, right? Altcoins are now higher on the dollar pair. but they are lower on the Bitcoin pair. It's just because Bitcoin is sitting at 100K basically, let alone if Bitcoin sits at 100K or more and we go back up here. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Now, one thing that I do want to mention, you always want to look how to shuffle your money, right? Like we discussed in the Alpha Factory, for example, you can look like, hey, I, for example, have an AVAX bag, and AVAX ran quite hard. Is there more upside? Do I want to take profits? Yes, but do I want to put it in dollars? No, I don't want to miss out. You could also look like, hey, Joe leading DEX on AVAX, right? I want to buy Joe with my AVAX. Well, that's also a possibility. And then you can look at such ranges like, okay, maybe I should put some AVAX into Joe. That's a possibility. Now, a bigger trade that you can take is Ethereum. Because if you look, and a lot of people, again, they now say Ethereum is dead, right? Like, probably not. And it all depends on your conviction, definitely. But if you look how altcoins do against their Bitcoin pair, they are quite close to the bottom, but they are showing strength. They're breaking these big moving averages. They're breaking out of this trend line. They're breaking this trend line. They're right on track with seasonality, but they're still low, right? However, if you look at altcoins on the Ethereum pair, this is a fucked up drawn range. But yeah, what do you take, right? One of these wicks, like, I don't know, something like this. But if you look at this, then altcoins on their Ethereum pair are actually quite high. So if you at a certain point feel like, wow, I am getting a little nervous with this market and I want to de-risk a little bit, but don't want to miss out, you can also say like, well, maybe now it's not the worst time to put some altcoins that I have into Ethereum. Right? But because at a certain point, Ethereum will have its run once again as well. It's just like probably gonna happen again. A lot of times people said Ethereum was dead. I can honestly tell you that, like, if you look at this chart, yeah, I don't know, man. But no, just no, right? So keep that in mind. And at a certain point, I do feel like we are gonna have a good correction in the market, but not maybe anytime soon. The only reason for me to say that is because the USDT dominance is, yeah, again, not able to break this trend line right here. And this has been accurate since ever. And basically every time we bounced off of it, the market collapsed, right? It wasn't a correction anymore, it collapsed. But we can stay here for a while like we did over here and then go up. And in the meantime, altcoins can move really hard. So that's also a possibility. Now, what's really interesting, what I think, what is gonna drive the low caps right now is the fact that we see some altcoins go up extremely hard, while you might feel like, what the fuck, why would you buy this? Like, look, XRP flipped Solana, right? It's now 236. It was 250 or so. Yeah, I don't want to be biased against XRP. I've been laughing about XRP for a long time because it kind of never moves, right? But if it does like these weird spikes, right? And I understand. And this is good for us, right? Because XRP, it never does shit. When it does, it moves really hard. But people, they've been waiting for such a long time. They also feel like, let me take my profits right away, right? And they take it out again and then it dumps, right? And here as well, it moons really hard and it goes down right away again. And now it moons really hard as well. Yeah, I mean, here it stayed high for, it kind of started to move December 11 and it was already back down in January, right? 1.5 months, give or take. So I feel like, hey, what could happen potentially is with coins like XRP, the people that have been waiting for such a long time on XRP, I mean, hats off to you for waiting so long in the first place. But these people probably be like, okay, time to finally take some out because it finally moved. Like there are some complete brain dead idiots on TikTok saying that XRP goes to like $10,000 or whatever. But no one with an actual brain actually believes that, right? So the people that see these moves, they take their money out at a certain point, right? And this might be a very good time. If I've been waiting so long on XRP, fuck yeah, take it out. But they probably know better than just putting it in USDT or whatsoever because they don't think that the market is over necessarily. So they put it somewhere else where more money is to be made. And that's a rotation, right? That's the part of the Bitcoin to the high caps like here, then the high caps to the low caps, right? And that's what you can see on this chart. If you look at the top 10, Look, that's this chart right here. There's total 3. That's Bitcoin, everything except Bitcoin and Ethereum, minus others, so minus everything outside of the top 10, minus USDT and USDC. So this chart is only showing XRP, Solana, BNB, Dogecoin, Cardano, and staked ETH, I think. So that's this chart. Look where this chart is, right? Look where this cycle high was compared to the low cap chart. Right? So again, this is a front runner, right? Bitcoin moves first. That's what we saw. Bitcoin moved. Then you saw that the high caps really started to break out hard as well. And at a certain point, people, they will take their profits and they will put it into the lower caps. And that's where you finally see this chart making that move. That's where a lot of money is going to be made, right? And at a certain point, people trust the pump. It's also important. We had a lot of these pumps lately where people felt like, oh yeah, this is it. And then it goes down again. So now people might be a little skeptical, have some bear market PTSD, see a pump, and they feel like, okay, let me sell it. Let me take profits because this is probably going down. At a certain point, the pump will be sustainable. This might be it. Then they will see that it will keep on going up. People won't sell anymore, right? They feel like, holy shit, this pump is real. And therefore, there will be no sell pressure anymore as well. So it goes up even further. Again, I spoke about this earlier. We don't even have to have more money in the market, right? The money is already there. If you look at the total crypto market, this thing is sitting at all-time highs, right? But the rotation is the only thing that we kind of need. Plus, there will be new money in the market, but we just need a rotation. The money is already there. It's right in front of us, right? So you can either be in the places where you feel like, yeah, this is pumping right now. You can buy XRP or BNB or Cardano, but it's already pumping, right? Then you are buying you can also be like, hey, I have conviction. I believe in something. I research something. Right? And then you buy that. And then if the money eventually flows there, that's where you have your money ready already. Now I want to give you a tip that I think is really useful, because you do not, of course, like I said, want to just be in this market and then get out forever. There will be a new cycle after this. The thing is, in this cycle, a lot of great coins come to the market. A lot of great coins. Way better than 4 years ago. The tech is just improved. And there was a moment, like maybe for some people still, they'd be like, oh, meme coins, fuck tech. What is utility? Bro, utility is what even makes meme coins exist in the first place, right? And utility will always be there. And the big investors go after the tech, not the hype, right? It's just, that's just what it is, right? And the tech is so much better right now. The problem is that a lot of projects, they released with bad tokenomics, bad long token vestings, high, huge unlocks. Now, this is cool. If you look at CryptoRank.io, there were 2 projects releasing in this market right now, well, pumping in this market right now, that people were completely vocal about. One was a while ago. This was Creo Engine. And Creo Engine was a project that I was in the pre-sale a couple of years ago, and it kind of went only down from the pre-sale. If you look at this, it kind of sucked, right? If you look at the all-time chart, you can see this was the pre-sale somewhere here, right? What the hell are you doing? This was the pre-sale somewhere here, and it just completely died off. And really, believe me, nobody gave a shit. Nobody knew about it. Nobody talked about it. Creo Engine wasn't existing for nobody. Then, for some reason, I haven't even researched it yet, but it started to pump really freaking hard. It went from a 100K market cap to 50 million, right? Everybody was Creo Engine, right? But this was a coin that came out a long time ago already. Now, the problem back then was token vesting, right? Here, when the token came out, yeah, like there was a big token vesting, right? There was a market cap of this and then a fully diluted market cap of the complete opposite. Now that's close to each other. Now people dare to invest. The same thing with Engine Starter, they released Virtual in 2021. And I missed that one. I wasn't in Engine Starter back then. But also back then, people felt like, yeah, meh, right? It didn't do much. It went up here a little bit, but went down again. Like, it was never special because of big token vesting, unlocks. Now that's completely done. And for some reason, it caught the hype. It has the right momentum. It has the right economics right now. Everything is coming together. And this thing completely freaking pumps, man. It went from a $30 million market cap to 1.7 billion. Like, what the fuck, man? Like crazy. And now everybody likes this coin. My point is, already put together a watch list for the next cycle, because next cycle there will be a lot of virtuals, there will be a lot of Creo engines. There are now a lot of projects that may not be that interesting yet because of the unlocks, but for the rest, it's all really good. One example, and it's not even the best example, by the way, but if you look at Carrot, right, from My Pet Hooligan, this project is looking very good. This is a game, and this is one of the better looking crypto games, actually. However, if you take a look, it has a market cap of, shit, I see so many. Yeah, oh yeah. There's a market cap of 80 million, fully diluted 500. Now, it depends on the vesting, but it could scare off a lot of people. Right now, what you want to do is you can take a look at vesting right here. Now, ask yourself, when is probably the next bear market? Well, probably top end 2025 so far, right? Always a year later, that's the bear market. So till the end of 2026. So let's say beginning 2027, it could be time for the market to pick up again. Now, then look like, hey, how are these projects looking by the beginning of 2027? Well, then there are 450 million tokens in circulation by then. Right? 450 million. If we now, I make the same typo again. What? If we look at Carrot right now, there are now at this moment 155 in circulation. So by that time, it will be 3 times as much. So most of the vesting has been already done by then. Right? Another cool example is RWA. Real good release lately. I'm lucky to be an early investor, and I think this thing did phenomenal. However, I wouldn't buy it on the open market because $6 million market cap at 50 million fully diluted. So again, look like, hey, how is it looking at the beginning of 2027? And yeah, if we go there, then you can see like, hey, by then, 80% is circulation. Hey, of course, you still want to see by then if the project is still building, but I think that speaks for itself. But if it is, then it's just a very good project with good tokenomics. Unlike now it's a good project with bad tokenomics. So that way you can already kind of make a watch list for the next bull market. I think that's really a good way to do so, because now you're in the middle of it. Now you know about these projects. Now they're releasing. Now you're researching. In 2 or 3 years from now, it's very hard to look back at now and be like, wow, what was popular back then? Why was it popular back then? And why would this now maybe be a good hold? Because by then, the prices are low. Nobody will give a shit about it, right? And it's easy for you to forget about that project by then as well. So you want to remember these projects, because in a bear market, everything is low, but it doesn't mean everything is bad. So that's just a tip that I have for you. I think that's pretty valuable, actually. For now, yeah, altcoin market going a little down in the week, but hey, what can I say? I mean, look at the pump. It just pumped 100%. Let it cool off a little bit. It's nothing too crazy. Again, could we see a decent pullback in the meantime for Bitcoin? Yeah, last cycle it did. Maybe. The altcoin market kept on going up, basically, so we'll see how it's going to do right now. Bitcoin dominance, again, is showing real weakness from all angles. Bitcoins or altcoins on the Bitcoin pair breaking out. Altcoin dominance breaking out. All the stars are aligning. Altseason is obviously at the beginning already very close to it. And this is the time, guys. Like, make sure that you are bullish enough. I keep on saying this in the Alpha Factory as well. I really want to make sure that people there also prepare for the next bear, right? It's a sick rhyme. But people there have to prepare for the next bear. That's what it is, right? Like in the bear market, I have been preparing and I've been preparing by, sorry, buying notes, investing in pre-sales, right? Having a good liquid bag for my portfolio. And now that the market is doing this, I'm printing like so much money, more than I've ever done, right? And the real move, like, let's be honest, what the fuck is this, right? And in the Alpha Factory, I just try to really interact with you guys. And so there's a link down below. Again, there's now a discount. Do join it if you really want to kill it for the next cycle as well. Because in the bear market is where you prepare for these times. And these times are going to be crazy. I'm happy how I handled it so far. And my plan is to do it even way, way better in the next cycle. And like I said, you need 2 good cycles. If you pull off a 10x overall in this cycle and a 10x in the next one, let's be honest, you 100x your net worth in 8 years, right? Even faster. And that's something that not a lot of people can say that they occasionally do. So yeah, want to leave it here, guys. Thanks for watching. If you want to like the video, it would help me a lot. Subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. See you soonish.